Welcome back. In this section, we are going to implement my URLs page and admin dashboard pages. Whatever the knowledge we gained so far by building this URL shortener application, those skills are enough to build these two screens. So I'm going to quickly walk you through the implementation, and then we're going to focus more on a few interesting concepts, such as we can use method level security instead of centralizing all the security configuration in web security config. We have already configured that, but now we're going to learn how we can use annotation based method level security. And also, typically in many applications, there are roles like user and admin, and most of the times a activity that can be performed by a user can also be performed by admin also. So we can consider admin is nothing but all the privileges a regular user has plus more privileges. So how we can configure role hierarchy in such a way that any activity that can be performed by a user can automatically be performed by a admin. So we are going to use this role hierarchy for that concept. So let's get started. So currently, when we access our application as a guest, you don't see my URLs or admin dashboard links. Once we log in, and if I have admin privilege, I will see admin dashboard. Otherwise, I will only see my URLs page. So we have those links in our navigation bar in layout.html. So when I click on this my URLs, I'm going to request /my-urls page, and also when I click on admin dashboard, this is the URL I am requesting for. Okay, so now I have implemented the logic to handle this request. So let us go through that. So in home controller itself, I have implemented this handler method to handle get request for /my-urls. So here what I'm doing, again, I'm taking the pagination request query parameter, just like the way we did for home page, and then I am getting it the current logged in user information from security utils, and then I have created a new method to fetch current users short URLs with pagination support. So I am passing the user ID and page number and page size. So let us take a look at it. So here earlier we have calculated page number, right? So I have moved that logic into a private method so that I can reuse it in multiple places. So I'm checking if the page number is more than 1, I'm taking it as -1, otherwise it should be 0. So here I am constructing the page request object, pageable object. We have seen this earlier also. So now once we have that, I am calling short URL repository dot find by created by ID. So I will explain what this is. So here I have created this following this derived query method naming convention. So what it is going to do, it is going to remove this prefix of find by and then try to create a where class using this one. So here, if you notice in our short URL entity, we have user created by field. Inside that we have ID. So here what it is going to do, it is going to understand that there is a field called created by, which is a user object. Within that there is ID property. So it is going to generate the query by joining the created users table and filter by ID value of the user. So not only like this one, not only we can write the derived query method by comparing the fields of the current entity, we can also create our derived query methods by querying nested relational objects also. Relational in the sense short URL has an association with user, so we can also query that user's ID based value also. So I do not use any custom query like this. Simply I have used derived query method, and then for this ID, created user ID, I passed this, and also passed pageable argument for pagination. So once I call that, and then I map it to short URL entities, and then I construct a page result and then return it. So once I have that, again similar to our home page, I have put these URLs in the model and also put the base URL here and return this URL, my URLs page. So I have created a my URLs timeleaf template, which is again similar to our timeleaf home index.html. We are checking whether there is data or is it empty. Otherwise, we are showing the data by looping through the data of short URLs. So more or less the same. And also we have included a pagination fragment here. Okay, there is a little bit more functionality here for selecting checkboxes and then deleting, but I will explain this in a minute. So first let us take a look at this implementation. Let me log in with admin credentials. So here I am logging in with admin. And if I go to my URLs page, we can see similar to our home page, we can see this paginated list of things. And also we have a checkbox, and if you want to delete one or more, we can select them and delete them. I'll explain that feature in a bit. And we have this pagination also. But there is one small flaw. When I put my cursor here, you can see it is taking me to localhost 8080 slash page equals to 2. But we want to go slash my URLs page equals to 2. Why it is not taking it? Because in our pagination.html file, we have hard-coded that path to slash only. Okay, so this is something we need to parameterize so that we can pass it depending on which page we are including this one. So let us do one thing. So if we go to home page and in our home handler, here we can put additional attribute pagination URL, and this is going to be just a slash. In our home page scenario, this is the case. And if we go to my URLs page, here it should be slash my hyphen URLs. Okay, now we can take this, and in our pagination, instead of slash, let us use that variable. Okay, so now I can replace slash with that. Okay, now let us restart our application. Okay, now let me log in again with admin. Okay, now from here I can go to next page and stay on the home page itself. And if I go to my URLs and if I go to next, I can successfully navigate across page and stay on the my URLs itself. So that is how we parameterized pagination URL in the common pagination fragment. Okay, so we can do the similar thing in our admin controller as well. We'll see it later. So now we have a pagination implemented, and let us take a little bit look at this feature where we are able to either select one or two and then delete this. So what we are doing while iterating through all that, while iterating through all the short URLs, we also have an input checkbox. So here the value is nothing but short URLs ID. Okay, and we gave the common name IDs. So we can select one or more short URLs, and all of the selected values can be submitted as IDs. Okay, so this is a checkbox, and also we have gave this CSS class URL checkbox. Okay, so there will be one checkbox for each row like this. In addition to that, we also have one checkbox with ID select all. So this is for if you want to select all of them, you can click and then it is going to select all of them. Otherwise, you can uncheck all of them. So that functionality of selecting, unselecting and everything is handled in our JavaScript here. So once document content loaded event is triggered. So okay, so here we are attaching this event listener. In this we are initializing all that JavaScript behavior. So here we are taking the all checkbox element, and then we are we are taking all the checkboxes based on the CSS selector with the class name, CSS class name. And also we have selected this delete button and then delete form. So this delete form is nothing but we have everything in our form, so all the data. So basically it's a simple JavaScript where if the user selects or unselect select all checkbox, it is going to loop through and then either check all of the checkboxes or uncheck all of the checkboxes. So once if you make any change, you also need to either enable or disable update delete button state, because if there is no select box, it should be disabled. So if you select all of them, if you unselect all of them, so depending on the state, you need to enable or disable that. So that is what we are going to trigger here. So similarly, for each of the URLs, again, we are doing the event listening, where if any of this state changes, we are also going to update the delete button, either enable or disable, because at least there should be one checkbox checked to make this button enabled. So again, we are checking that. So finally, when we click on the delete button, we are asking for the confirmation and then submitting the form. So when we submit the form, it is nothing but we have only these checkboxes. So the name with IDs and all the selected values will be passed in this thing. So here, if you select one or two like this and then delete, click on this, it will ask for this permission and it is going to submit that. Here we have action is pointing to delete URLs. So in our home controller itself, we have another handler, delete URLs, in which we are taking this IDs parameter, and Spring will automatically convert that comma separated values into a list of long values, which are nothing but short URL IDs. And again, we are checking whether it is null or is it empty. If it is empty, we are simply saying no URL selected for deletion and then redirecting to my URLs page. Otherwise, we are taking the current, who is the current logged in user, and then we are calling delete user short URLs by passing the list of short URL IDs and the current user. And we have this method. Again, we are checking all of them should not be null. And again, we are using this derived query method. Okay, delete by ID in. So here we are saying delete by ID in. So we are passing a list of long values, right? So it is going to use ID in and then pass all the values that we are passing to this method and created by ID. So it is going to check, okay, take all these short URL IDs and also the user ID. So the query will be like delete from short URLs where ID in and 1, 2, 3 and user ID equals to so and so value. So this is going to work like that. Okay. So one thing we can add this modifying. So usually whenever you are doing something, changing instead of querying, you want to insert or anything like that, delete, update, you can use this modifying to indicate that we are doing a modifying operation. So that is how we can implement this feature. And once it is successfully deleted, we are showing either success message or failure message and then again redirecting to my URLs. So this is how we have implemented my URLs page. Okay. So if you don't select anything, it will be disabled. If you select everything or at least one thing, it gets activated and you can click on that. So that's how my URLs page works. Next, let us go to our admin dashboard. Again, it is going to be very similar to how we have used my URLs. Again, when I click on this admin/dashboard, I have added a admin controller. Again, we have a get mapping for at the class level I have /admin, at the mapping level I have dashboard. Here again I'm taking the pagination parameter and I'm querying find all short URLs and getting them and putting in the model and then rendering it. So in admin dashboard page, we are simply displaying all of the data. We are not even having the select and delete feature as well. Okay, so this is nothing new. Almost what we had did in my URLs page, it is same thing. Okay, only thing is instead of selecting only public URLs or a user specific URLs, we are fetching all the URLs from everybody. Okay, so that's the only change and nothing much. Here again we have a custom method and we are loading joining the created by as well. Okay, so if we have my URLs and a dashboard also, you can see short URLs, original URLs, and who created this and all details. So this is how we have implemented my URLs and admin dashboard. Now let us get into the more interesting part. Currently, we have centralized all our security configuration in our web security config. So here we have first specified what are all the URLs that are allowed to be accessed without authentication. And then we configured what URLs we need to be authenticated to be able to access them, and also admin specific URLs. So we have centralized all this configuration here. So there is another approach where instead of configuring these restrictions here, you can only simply configure what are the public URLs that you want to enable access for everyone, and then just configure any other request should be authenticated. You don't configure what are the admin specific URL patterns and everything. So instead you want to use method level annotation based security. Okay, so in order to activate that feature, we need to enable method level security. Okay, so by adding this annotation enable method security, we can use those annotations. Okay, now where we want to secure, obviously the admin dashboard should be secure, right? So let us go to admin controller, and here right now we have only one handler method, but even if there are others, they are all going to be accessible by admin only. So I'm going to put the annotation at the class level. Otherwise, if there are places where one is can be accessed by any authenticated user and one can be accessible only for admin users, you can put it the annotation on the method level also. But here I will put it in the class level. Okay, so here I can use pre-authorize and use the same expression. Earlier we have used this expression in our layout template right here. So similar expression we can use here with pre-authorize. Okay, now this can be accessed only if the user has admin role. And similarly, if we want to have such annotation, here also we can add at pre-authorize and also specify has role or anything is authenticated. Okay, you can use this, but here it is going to be unnecessary because this can be accessible by only authenticated users, so which is already taken care here, any request authenticated. So apart from this, every other URL should be authenticated, so we don't need this. But let's assume not only for example any delete functionality or anything like that, and not only authenticated. Let's say if you want to have any role, it can be a user or it can be like a moderator if there is such a role. Okay, so you can add these kind of annotations. So when somebody tries to access this, it is going to automatically check whether the current logged in user has this role or not. Okay, so this way you can use method level security instead of centralized configuration at once. So it is up to you which one you prefer. Okay, and next thing and more interesting thing is here we are showing this my URLs for any user who is authenticated. So let's, for example, let's assume we have used the expression of has role of user. So let's assume we use this expression. Okay. Now the understanding is this can be accessible for any user who has a role underscore user role assigned to the logged in user. And also assume in our system, it is the assumption is the role admin is capable of doing everything that a normal user can do plus more. So in that case, it is not going to show this my URLs page because in our case, the admin user only assigned admin permission, not user permission. So it is not going to show it. So let us see this. Now I have changed this to has role user, right? Now let me log in and using admin credentials and it is not going to show up. Okay. So here I will log out and I'm going to log in with admin credentials. And it is showing only admin dashboard. It is not showing this my URLs page because it doesn't know, Spring Security doesn't know that role admin is role user plus more things, right? So how do we convey that? So that is where role hierarchy comes into picture. So we can configure a bean, it's a bean and role hierarchy. Okay. So here we can, let's say, role hierarchy implement dot from hierarchy, simply written. So we can create a role hierarchy implementation by calling this static method and specifying role admin is greater than role user symbol. So what this signifies is everything that a role user can also be done by role admin. Okay, you can, if you have more roles, for example, role moderator or something like that. Okay, you can put this hierarchy into this structure. So now that we have only two roles, let us keep it like this. So with this being defined, let us restart. Now again in our layout page, we have only role user, and in our if we take a look at our database, admin user only has role admin. There is only one role associated, not role user. Role admin is associated to admin@gmail.com. Okay, so now with this configuration of a role hierarchy, let us go and see what happens if we log in. Let me log out and log in again with admin. Now I can see my URLs as well. Okay, so if you have such a role hierarchy concept in your application, you can register this role hierarchy bin and specify in this format, and you should be able to configure in such a way that okay, anything that can be done by a user with role user can also be done by with role admin as well. Okay, so this is how we can use method level security and a role based role hierarchy as well. I hope you learned how to use Spring Security's method level security and role hierarchy based security as well. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.